Hello, welcome to American Baker in Germany, where the ingredients are German and the baker is American. I'm Michelle, and today we are making a VW bus cake. This is a special request for my husband's cousin for her 40th birthday. So happy birthday, Valborga. This is for you, and let's get started.
This is vegan chocolate cake and chocolate Swiss meringue buttercream. The cake I baked in a 10-inch square baking pan, cut off about an inch off each side, and then cut it in half to make rectangles 4 by 10 inches. After it was baked and trimmed, I wrapped it up and froze it for a few days. Besides the frozen cake, this was a very hot day, so you will see the effects of that on the buttercream. I had to pause several times to chill the cake in the refrigerator before I could work on it again. I believe I also lost some height while the cake thawed. Frustrating, but that can happen when you work with frozen cake. So using some paper templates I found online and printed on my regular printer, I placed them on the sides of the cake and cut around them to give me the shape of the VW bus. I also had templates of the front and back of the bus. Then I crumb coated the cake and chilled it about half an hour to set up the buttercream. Then I frosted the cake again with this small offset spatula. And finally cleaned up the cake board. I'm sure you were yelling at me to clean it up. Yes, I cleaned it. Then I rolled out some black fondant into a strip and wrapped it around the bottom of the cake. And I placed a bit more black on top of the wheels. And just because a bit of buttercream is peeking out the bottom, I added a tiny snake of black fondant in the gap. Then I rolled out a strip of red fondant, cutting a V shape in the front with a circle cutter. I didn't quite make it all the way around, so I did have a seam on the side. I wasn't sure how I would cover it up at first, but I had an idea later. Then I rolled out some beige fondant and cut the V into the front using the circle cutter. I smoothed it on the best I could and trimmed it flush to the red fondant. Then I rolled out some gray fondant and first laid a rectangle onto the top of the bust to be the rectangle roof that becomes bunks. Then I added the many, many windows all over the bust. I added some lines with my knife to be the edges of the doors. Unfortunately, the seam in the red fondant didn't quite line up. Then, using some beige fondant, I cut some strips and placed them to be the bumpers. And I rolled out some white fondant and cut out some small circles with a piping tip and cut out the VW logo out of one of them and placed it in the middle on the front. The other circles became headlights and hubcaps. Then I made the white into a thin strip and placed it at the juncture of the beige and the red fondant. And spontaneously, I added a thin strip to cover the seam in the red and another one on the other side to make it look deliberate. I also added a bit of a white stripe to the back bumper. Then I rolled out some green fondant and covered the cake board with it. And I textured it to be grass with a star tip. I used a fondant press mold with the 70s style alphabet and used the H and the O to cut it and make it look like the number 40. Lastly, I used silver luster dust mixed with alcohol to give the white a bit of a sheen and to surround the windows and make the windshield wipers. This cake was a big challenge for me. It was fun to make, but the challenges cannot be denied. It was difficult, but Valborga was excited about it, and that's all that matters. Happy birthday! For more cakes and tutorials, visit our website at AmericanBakerInGermany.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe for a new cake every week. Hit the notification bell to be the first to know when we upload a new video.